Hello, my name is Rick McConnell, and we are at Zion Baptist Church shooting our first webcast show. And our topic today is facing your struggle with faith. We know that just the size of a mustard seed of faith, we can move mountains. And today we have with us Brother Mark Sanders, Minister Mark Sanders, and he has come to share his story with faith. Here we go. All right, Minister Mark Sanders, how are you?
Fine.
Good. Okay, so when you first realized that there was something wrong in September of 2010, can you tell us what the symptoms you were experiencing? What were those symptoms?
Pretty much the symptoms were, I was starting to feel in my feet a sense of tingling and the numbness, and that's basically where it began.
So that's what caused your concern?
Yes.
So how long did you actually wait till you saw a physician?
Actually, it was probably about a month before I actually.
So you went a whole month just having no feeling in your leg?
Well, with the numbness in my feet, because I was still working every day, but so basically it was just a matter of making a doctor appointment. But when I say I waited a month, was because I went to see Dr. Frazier, who's my family physician.
Yeah.
And then I explained the situation to him, and he thought it would be best first to set up an appointment with Dr. Boyle here in Chillicothe.
Which is he is he a specialist or is he just
Yes.
He's a specialist. What kind of specialist is he?
As far as for the feet.
Okay, a foot specialist.
Mm-hmm.
So you also, before you reached the actual diagnosis,
Mm-hmm.
you had seen, how many doctors have you seen?
Before they actually diagnosed what I had here in Chillicothe, I want to say it was basically 5 doctors. 6 doctors.
Thank you, Angel.
Basically 6 doctors who Dr. Frazier set me up to see as far as all of them here in Chillicothe.
And so were they all one kind of specialist or were they all different kinds of specialists?
Basically they were all different as far as the specialists. Two of them were the same. Actually, 2 of them were in the same office. And then actually when they sent me to see the last one, before I went to OSU, the other doctor specialist had already left the office with Dr. Jones.
So when you were told that your issue, your situation had a name, where were you? What hospital were you in?
OSU.
OSU.
Mm-hmm.
So that's when you figured out that this is what I have and this is what I have to go through.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so when you, during that waiting period, I know a lot of people, especially here, and when they go to Adina, and sometimes they're not able to reach a diagnosis for maybe more than a month.
Mm-hmm.
And so during that process where you were waiting for your diagnosis, did you ever feel like going crazy, like I need to figure out what's wrong with me? Or were you just content through it all?
I was a little concerned, basically because not exactly knowing what I had and how my condition was starting to fail. I mean, it was going down rapidly at that time. And so I had a little concern about it. And then once I found out, then that's basically when I said, is it treatable? And when the doctor told me it was, then that's when.
So when did you finally receive a diagnosis?
That was actually May 11th of 2011.
2011, okay. So as a person, seeing you come to church every Sunday, and just seeing, no matter if you were in a wheelchair, no matter if you were on a walker, no matter if you were on a cane, you always had a positive outlook, and you just seemed you had the persona of all is well. Did you have that feeling all along, that all would be well?
Yes. After they had told me that it was treatable, I knew from then that everything was going to be all right through the whole situation that I was going through.
And so after being prayed up, being prayed for,
Mm-hmm.
coming to church, praising, running around the church, throwing your walker, throwing your canes. When you finally received the diagnosis, what was the diagnosis that they gave you?
Diagnosis that they gave me, it was called Poems syndrome.
Combs syndrome.
Yes.
Okay. And was that the only diagnosis, or was it just?
That was basically what they said it was, because Poems there's like 4 things connected to it, in which
Affect different areas.
Yeah, in which I had the numbness and the tingling,
Which is the
which
P.
was the
Polyneuropathy.
yes.
That affects the nerves.
Yes.
Okay.
I was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, which is a part of it also.
And so would that be the part with the O, which stands for organomegaly?
Okay,
Organomegaly or whatever.
what that was is they found abnormal protein in my blood and urine cells.
So that would be it says the organ part of it, abnormally enlargement of an organ.
Okay. Also, I had enlarged lymph nodes.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
So
That they found also.
So were they thinking that was cancer?
Yes.
And it wasn't.
Right.
Cancer.
Right.
Okay. So the M, monoclonal gammopathy. Monoclonal gammopathy. My God, that's hard to say. Okay, so that is a blood cell disorder that's associated with myeloma.
Okay. That was the abnormal protein in the blood cells.
Okay, so you didn't actually have myeloma. You didn't have cancer.
They had to list it as multiple myeloma, even though it wasn't cancer.
Mm-hmm.
That's how they had to.
Just to give it a name, just to say they had something.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the closest thing they could come up with
As
for
far
what
as
your symptoms were.
Mhm.
Okay. And so the S was the skin abnormalities.
Yeah, in which what it is, I have skin pigmentation. Basically, you can see it on my feet and even parts of my body, as far as the skin change, pigmentation.
Well, did that mainly affect the areas where your nerves were going
Yeah,
haywire?
actually, what it also affects all your vital organs, but for me, it affected only the nervous part. Yeah.
According to the ORD, the Office of Rare Diseases of the National Institute of Health, less than 200,000 in the U.S. are affected by Poems syndrome as of March 1st, 2013. According to rightdiagnosis.com, the annual death rate of a male between the ages of 45 to 54 is 1 in 234, and for the ages between 55 and 64 are 1 in 97. Why do you feel that you were the 1 in 97 men that made it?
Basically because of my faith in God, and I know through it all, I just truly believe that God was in it. From the day when they took me to OSU, and they were doing it was called an EMG, and during that testing, there was a doctor that happened to walk by the office as they were doing the process on me. And the lady that was performing, she asked him a question, and he said he would go back to his office. If he had no more appointments, that he'd be right back. He came back, he asked me a question, and he asked also if I wouldn't mind if he took over doing the EMG testing. And as he was doing that, he asked me some questions. And by the time he ended it, he himself had diagnosed to me what it was that I had was Poems syndrome. And I knew, especially when I asked him, is it treatable? And when he said yes, it was, I knew God was in it all the way. Because from that point on, because him walking past that doorway, that was God. That
So
was-
he had nothing. He had never seen you before.
No.
Had nothing to do with you.
No, he had not even been a part of the team at OSU that was,
Take care of you.
yes, as
So
far
he
as the
just
team
walked by
goes.
and said, "Hey,
Yes, yes,
no, if that's not God, I don't know what it is."
right.
Yeah. All right, we're going to take a break. We'll be right back. All right.